as hell.
3, 2, 1, go. Hello, welcome to the... Crooked. 3, 2, 1, go. Hello, and welcome to the Backyard Machine Shop. Guys, we're back on the grinders again. Actually, we went ahead and replaced the bearings in the old bow door here. I originally considered taking it completely apart and blasting it and restoring it, you know, but I just want a machine that works real well. Changing the bearings is all it needed. The paint has no effect on the use of it. I would like to change the wheels. I'll put the old wheels right back on it. Eventually I might change them. So anyway, I don't know if you remembered how bad this old girl sounded when we fired her up for the first time a couple weeks ago, but she's right now. So to tell you a little bit about what was wrong, here's one of the bearings. Now the bearing these bearings, they come with grease, and they say they're lifetime greased, and that's not completely true. Thing is, I don't know if they expect the machines to last as long as they are. This machine's 50 years old, and over time, what happens? The grease, all grease is a wax or soap, and I think it's about 85% of mineral oil that's embedded in that wax and that soap. So over time, what happens is that oil slowly seeps out, evaporates, whatever it does, and all you're left with is the wax. So if you get a machine that's 20 years old or so, go ahead and plan on replacing the bearings. Even though they don't sound bad, more than likely they're not 100% of what they should be. So what we will do is cover in this video is, one, I was covering this grinder. And two, we're going to go around the shop and I'm going to show you a few of the things that I've picked up since the last videos I made last year. There's a good bit to do. We're going to talk about the shop a little bit, the new shop. I was surprised. I went down to Antique Engine Show down in Fort Meade, Florida this past weekend, and met up with a few of the guys, and everybody was asking me about the shop. Well, they were seeing it on Instagram, but they didn't see any of the videos that I'd posted, which they were real short videos, and I'm sure YouTube isn't pushing them around too much because they're only 10 or less than 10 minutes long. So if you hadn't seen them, go back and look at them. But anyway, we're going to look at the new shop. Really, we've gotten as far as we can right now with it, and it's waiting on some funding to go further. We also are going to look at, like I said, we're going to look at a couple of the machines that I've picked up that I haven't shown yet. A couple of them in the room next door, and it's a real big mess next door, but we're going to look at them. So right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go turn on the phase converter, and we're going to show you this thing, how nice and quiet it is right now. I still need to do some electrical work on it, get the wiring, and we'll do that when we move it into the grinding room. All right, so stand by. All right, guys, so there we got the phase converter running. You might can hear the little hum in the background, and we're gonna start this old girl up. And I'm gonna try to find a clip from the last video we can stick in here and kind of show you how noisy it was and then how quiet it is now. Now, this camera picks up everything, so you may actually hear some motor noise, but this girl is running sweet and quiet. So here we go. Now listen. See, remember the last time we ran it, she was squeaking and squawking, and all kinds of stuff going on. So she's fixed. And like I said, I still need to do some electrical work, tidy up the wiring a little bit, patch up the holes that's in the box, and change the heaters. I actually have the heaters sitting here somewhere, And these wheels, this wheel in particular, it's got a little wobble to it. I don't know what it is, but I think I'm gonna go ahead and fork out some money for a couple of new wheels. Okay. So another one of the things that I want to cover is a couple of the jobs I've got in here in the shop. Now, this is a torque converter, and this is a high stall speed torque converter. Normally they put these on cars. It gives them an opportunity to rev the engines up a little bit on drag cars to where they can launch at a higher RPM. I'm not sure what the stall speed on this one is, and I'm not sure of what the customer wants done can be done. So we're gonna check it out. So you see I got a little height gauge back here, and I've got a 10-inch standard for my micrometers. Now what he wants is he's built a 6.0 LS motor, and when he bought the converter, I think he's hooking up to a 4L80 transmission. Now the pilot bushing in here, the pilot of the torque converter does not fit inside the crankshaft, so it's a little bit too long. So what he wants me to do is come in here and take some of this off. I've never done anything like this, and honestly, I'm gonna try to talk him out of doing it, but you know, he's the customer, he's got the money, it's his torque converter and his transmission, and I'll try to do anything he wants. So I know how much we need to take off of this, and we need to take off, actually from this flange, we need 197 thousandths or 3/16. If I ain't mistaken, that's close to a ½ inch that we got, like, yeah, right at a ½ inch. I think right now it's sticking out about 700 thousandths. So what we have to do is, I'm gonna come in here before we ever do any of this, and we're gonna measure the thickness of that pilot. And so what I've got here is I've got a 10-inch standard, and we know it's 10 inches, and it really don't matter how long it is. So all I'm doing is I got a height gauge set up, and I'm gonna use a standard, and I'm gonna touch off and measure. Oh, we'll get over here where you can see. We're gonna touch off and measure with the standard, like so. Okay, and we just want some rough numbers there. So, all right. So what we got here in a reading is, well, I'm gonna have to get some glasses. All right, so right there we're reading 10 inches, 300 and 10 inches, 348 thousandths, okay? So that's what we're reading off the thing, off the surface plate. Now we got the nose touching on the surface plate, and we're gonna pull this off, and we're just gonna drop this down into the bottom very carefully. Okay, so we're gonna come over. I think I can read it with this. Pick it up, slide it in. And there's some hydraulic fluid down in there. I'm going to wipe that off. All right, so here we're reading 11 inches and 5 thousandths. So take a calculator. All right, so 11 inches, 0.005 minus 10 inches, 0.348 equals to 657 thousandths is the thickness of that nose. We got to take off, so that's going to leave about 150 thousandths of material in there, a little over 1/8 of an inch. That might be good enough, I don't know. So I'm gonna try to talk him out of doing it. But again, he's the customer and that's what he wants to do with his money. We'll oblige him, okay? I don't know enough about this stuff to make that difference. So hold on, I'll get another project up here and show you. The next project I did today, this belongs to a customer, and he'd lost a key, and it's a lockable trailer hitch tongue or ball receiver. So he lost the key and he couldn't adjust it, so he ordered a new locking mechanism, and he wanted me to take the other one off. Now, the way this works is there's a key system that goes in here with a little latch that sticks in. Once you turn it, it pops out and locks it, and it won't allow you to remove okay, so it won't allow you to remove this piece that goes on right here. There's 2 pins that go in that lock it in place, and you have to take and actually pull this out so you can pull the pins out and relocate it. Well, the only thing it does is it's tapped with some what looks like to be 1/4 20 screws in here. So I had to drill out the lock to start with to get to the locking mechanism and break it out. And over the past year or so, I've never stopped accumulating junk. So here's one of the things that I picked up last year at the Flywheelers museum or get together, and it's a McCormick Deering Model M 3 horsepower throttle governed engine. Now, the story behind this is we took this, I bought it, we took it over to Jim Bollinger's house, and over the course of an hour or two, we had it firing off, but we couldn't keep it running. We determined that the magneto was bad on it. And so I brought it home. I ordered a magneto kit, a new wire, and got the magneto going. Got it running pretty good for a few times, and decided I wanted it to run for a while. So what I'd done was I'd taken and filled up the water reservoir and was going to let it run for a while. And then when I shut it off, the next day all the water was inside the cylinder. So that's telling me I got a leak. Either I got a cracked cylinder, or this tube here is leaking, or the O-rings in the cylinder is leaking. So I don't know a whole bunch about it. I haven't had time to pull it apart. I actually have taken the cylinder head off and looked inside and made sure there was nothing wrong in there. So in the coming future, we're going to be taking this this engine apart, or this motor apart, or engine, and doing some work on it. So this is one more thing to look forward to in the future. The things you haven't seen. Well, I picked this thing up last year, probably in January, right after I quit making. I made some videos, and as you can see, it's a American Pace Maker, and its size is a 20 by 72. Okay, so we got this thing unloaded. We used a crane, picked it up, set it on the ground, and it took me probably 2 weeks to get it in here. Had some problems we can discuss later, but right now I'm not discussing them. So anyway, it's in here. This is not its home per se, and we'll eventually move it. There's a couple things that I know are wrong with it. The tailstock won't retract, and I've got a bent shaft right here that I got to remake. Anyway, the price was right, and and right now it's kind of rusty, but that's just surface rust. It wipes right off. So in the future, this is going to be my big lathe, and I've had it running, so it does run good. But like I said, it's a few weeks away from being even worked on. I just had my service upgrade, and I'll show you that also. Well, while we're sitting here, also in the shop, is we picked up a 8,000 pound gantry system, and this was needed to get this this machine in here. So you'll see a lot more of that later. All right, guys, so here's the next thing on the list. It's a probably mid-80s DoALL bandsaw. It's a 20-inch Y something 20 whatever. Anyway, it's in good working order. There's a couple little things wrong with it we got to fix, and we'll do some of that later on. Have this vise sitting up here. I'll use that vise to cut round stock. Just slide it in there and hold on to it, and it won't roll in your fingers or anything else. So other than that, it's a good looking saw. It fits in the shop real well, and like I said, you'll see it in future videos. All right, guys, so one of the biggest additions that I've made over the past year, and I think I bought these last March or so, is these are Vidmar cabinets. I think they're Stanley Vidmar. One of them's a Lions. Anyway, I've had a young person in here helping me kind of sorting things out, putting things in here and getting it organized. And as you can tell, we really hadn't messed with this cabinet yet. We've got some end mills in there, collet systems, bolts for clamping, clamps, and a multitude of stuff that I don't really know where I'm going to use it at. And we have another cabinet over here. She hadn't really started working on this cabinet. It's pretty much mill stuff. Got some collets for the Kearney and Trecker mills, some acorn dies, some acorn tap dies, more collets. These are collets for the Pratt & Whitney lathe. Again, we need to start working angle plates. We need to start working in here and getting them organized a little bit better. Now over here, we got two more cabinets, and that's the Lion cabinet. I'm gonna be honest with you, that's the best cabinet that I've used. And if you look down, I'm sorry, this got stuff pulled out of it right now. I was in there getting the standard for that 10-inch mic, and I need to put it all back up. So same thing over here. We started working on some of this stuff, drill bits, larger drill bits, boring bars, reamers. The biggest thing is some old-timey lathe tooling. Is she don't know what anything is, so I'm having to try to explain where everything goes. But I just told her to pretty much put it in cabinets. Now this one here, we've got all our mics in here. And the cool thing about this cabinet is but one drawer at a time will open. So we got some grinding discs and things, our bolt drawer. Again, organization needs to be fine-tuned. Just some junk, ball bearings. Yeah, some washers and nuts. And I don't even think there's anything in these drawers. All right, so that's pretty much the gist of the drawers. Now we're gonna step outside and talk about the new building. So I got you out back here, and like I said before, there's a lot of people that was asking me on the update on the new shop. Now the way we're going to do this is I have a driveway. If you see the lean-to there, that's gonna be gone. Okay, and we got a driveway. This is gonna be a 30-foot driveway comes through here, and we're gonna have a space to load and unload machinery between the two shops. Right now we're basically just have a barn, a pole barn. The last video I think I hadn't posted one of them actually finishing the building, but hadn't posted one of them finishing the building, but this is as far as it's going to get for a while. We're going to have to raise some more money. I did have 20 more loads of dirt brought in and widened it, so if I decide to put up the 12 by 48 extensions on either side, that it's already there. Now that old tractor, that's my dad's old tractor. It's been around. I rebuilt that motor about, I don't know, 20 years ago in it. It still runs strong. It's got a couple of little leaks in it I got to fix, but I brought it down here for the purpose of working on this. This mess I got over here, like I said, all this is going to be gone. This roll-up door you see here on the ground, that's going to be put in that shop there to access it, and then we're going to have 2 more roll-up doors in here. Probably have access in this bay or maybe that next bay, and then access on this front bay. Like I said, I brought in altogether, I think it was about 44 loads of dirt, and now we're pretty much set up. We've had about 4 inches of rain here in the past few days, and it really ain't helped things. All the rivers are out of the banks. The bottom down there is full. It's probably 4 foot deep in water. Everything's just wet. You can't work on anything right now. But probably April, May, you'll start seeing some more progress on this shop. Next door, you probably can hear them. They're cutting timber, and we're gonna walk over there and see what they're doing. All right, guys. So we're walking down the driveway here, and one of the things that we're not short on around here, if you can look right in there, is the deer. Every morning I wake up, I turn and drive down this driveway, and there's probably 6 or 8 of them sitting out here under that acorn tree right there, eating acorns. So I usually count when I see a lot of them leaving out of here. I count them on the way to work, and I've counted up to 29 of them in my headlights on my way to work. Me and the wife, between us, we've hit several deer. I think it's been 6 in the past 3 years, and they get you kind of spooky, but you can't do nothing about it. It's just so many of them here in Georgia that they're everywhere. Okay, so all right, guys, so here we are. This is a little pine thicket in here, and then here they're cutting the pine out of it right now. Now most of these pine are nothing but pulp. They're not big enough to be saw timber. I can't remember the size of it. I think it's 12 inches in diameter is saw timber, and most of this, like I said, is pulp. Now when I moved in here, these things weren't even here. They were planted about 20 years ago, and they're cleaning them out now to get a little bit of cash out of them. You can see you got a loader, you got a skidder there. He's pulling the logs up to the loader. The loader is actually stripping the limbs and loading it on, getting it ready for load on the truck. Now up here on this corner, you can see this is a skidder with the saw on it, and he just goes in there, and I was hoping to catch him working, but he just goes in there and whacks them down. He can probably take these size trees, he probably can cut a half a dozen of them at a time, hold them and tote them around to wherever he wants them. Again, This is you watch, they sawing it to length, and they're delimbing it, and he's stacking it here, getting it ready for he's sorting it and getting it ready for trucks. And I think you can see he's got some saw timber, but over here on this corner right over here, most of this though is pulpwood. So I hate to see it go because it's a border between the two properties, but then again, it's I'm glad it's going. So Alright guys, so one of the things that I needed to get the pacemaker up and running was I needed more power out in the shop. So we've come along, we've upgraded our service here on the house to 400 amp or parallel 200 amp services, and one of them, which would be that one, is going to go out to the shop. That one feeds the house, and there's a 100 amp service that feeds the shop also. So in short time we should have that done also. All right guys, so I got you down here at a friend of mine's warehouse. This is where he sorts his Vidalia onions and things. So 3 more machines that nobody knows about that I've picked up in the past year. All 3 are Supermax mills. The ones on the ends, so they're pretty much the same mill. I think there is a model number difference though, but you know, this one's cool. It's got a, look at this old servo drive on it. I've never quite seen one like that. It works. Everything works on the mills, and the mills are in pretty good shape. This one here is a CNC knee mill. It's got those square ways. They're a little covered in rust from being sitting in this warehouse, but anyway, I'm gonna retrofit it. The drives and the controller is outdated, and they're I don't think it's been used in 10 or 15 years, so it's in real good shape. All the weight covers are still on. All the mills, they were kept up pretty good. Again, 3 Supermaxes. I'm actually going to use one of these. Well, the middle one here, we're going to take and retrofit it, have it for a CNC mill. from what I understand, they're pretty good mills. This is a good heavy mill. It weighs about 3,500 pounds. So compared to the other two, which weigh around a ton, it's a lot beefier mill. But we're going to use one of these to replace my Wells Index while I rebuild my Wells Index. So I'm just looking for some time to get them moved in and some space in the shop, and you'll be seeing them around. So I guess that's a wrap from the backyard machine shop. I hope you enjoyed the video. The content was just kind of sporadic, walked around and showed you a few of the things that's going on, some of the stuff that I've collected over the past year. I still have a bunch of stuff that I collected this last week at the Antique Tractor Show down in Florida. We had a great time down there. That was me and Keith Rucker, Adam Booth, Mr. Pete was there, Jim Bollinger, trying to think of who else, but there was a few of us down there and we got to do a little meet and greet in their machine shop. They actually let me, when I came in, I asked them what can I help them with. They put me right to work fixing some of the leather belting and all in the shop, and actually got the opportunity to run some of their machines in which we were just demonstrating, and we weren't really doing any cutting, but it was all fun. I mean, it was anytime you get an opportunity to learn something new or touch a new machine or meet some new people, it works out for the best. So anyway, for the guys that showed up down there at the show, thanks for coming, and I was glad to meet you, shake your hand, talk to you for a little bit. Guys at the Flywheelers Association, thank you for having us. Really enjoyed it, and hopefully we can do it again next year. All right, so guys, Instagram, Backyard Machine Shop. I post more on Instagram than I do on video. My photography skills ain't the best, but at least you can see what I'm working on or what I'm eating or what I'm doing. So check out Instagram, and again, the Backyard Machine Shop. All right, so when I was at Flywheelers, there's a few people come up to me and said, we hadn't been able to see any of your video, or we didn't know that you was back into making videos. And so I guess my algorithm's hitting back up to par yet. So spread the word, hit the like button. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Even if you don't like the video, hit the dislike button. All that generates algorithms that increase viewership. So anyway, again, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Hit the like button. Leave a comment. And from the Backyard Machine Shop, so long.